Okay, so this video is for anyone who has a FrSky Tandem radio and has managed to break off one of your switches. So I have no idea how this happened, but I was traveling east to west coast, and somewhere along the way one of my long toggle switches got broken off. So I got a replacement from it's a FrSky switch. I think you could probably just figure out what kind of switches they are and use whatever. I've even seen people switching Radio Master switches into these tandem receivers, so I know that it works. I haven't tried it myself, so I think I got this from like Horus RC, which is like a FrSky distributor out of China. Now, that'll be one part of this video, and the other part is going to be for fixing a broken handle in the back, which, if you're familiar with the Tandem series, this is also your 915 megahertz antenna. So built-in antenna in the handle. There's nothing wrong with the radio. I broke this, being an idiot basically. So I've been playing around with ELRS modules on the back here, and I wanted to try out the 2.5 gigahertz ELRS Ranger module, which works great, fits on the back here, no problem, if the handle's removed. Now, I, in my infinite wisdom, decided, oh, well, I'll just build some 3D printed extenders here, extend the handle out, no problem. You can fit the ELRS and the handle all at once, no problem. And yeah, that works pretty good actually. I'll probably upload that model at some point here. However, what I found is I printed it probably with the wrong layer lines, and so it eventually cracked off while I was traveling. I didn't have an easy way to fix it, so I ended up flying my drone away from home for a few weeks with this handle just kind of taped off on the back, so it was kind of terrible. So I just decided, whatever, I'm just gonna put the handle back for now until I rework my 3D printed solution. So here we are. Obviously, pull the battery out. Now, you have 4 Phillips heads here, 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 and here. So take those out. Also, when you're doing this, you should probably be careful of your switches on the front. So I have this foam pad that came in the FrSky case, and I like to just kind of stick it on top just to give it something. Now, once you have the screws off, you can just take the back straight off. If it's a little snug, I'd recommend getting some of these, like an iFixit kit for like electronics. They have these little plastic wedges, and these are nice because you can work them in and pull it apart without wrecking your plastic too much. Now, when this comes off, if you still have your original handle, you're gonna be wanting to be careful here because this UFL connector is gonna be hooked back to your main board. So I don't have it here, so I don't have to be so careful, but you guys should definitely take care here. So when this pops off, it's gonna make it kind of a little, you'll know when it comes off, it makes a little snap. There you go. Okay, so normally these handles here, I'm gonna try and show you this. So normally these handles here coming in here. The antenna is going to be coming through one of these sides. I can't remember which one off my head. And this guy is going to be hooked to this missing one right here. This is the 900 megahertz one. Your 2.4s are internal on these radios. They're already hooked up. Your antenna is going to pop in like this. So put the handle in like this. Make sure it's snug all the way. Now these two little plastic locks are exactly what they say. They're gonna lock this in place. So you're gonna have Phillips screws in here by default. I already took mine off the last time that I did this. So, you know, make sure UFL comes in fine. Make sure it's not getting pinched. And then these are gonna go back over it. And you're gonna lock these down with Phillips. So if you don't have any Phillips on hand for some reason, like me, because apparently I lost my Phillips somewhere while I was reorganizing my shop. I'm gonna come in here. Look like they're about 8 millimeters long. They look like M2s off my head, so go over to my fancy Gridfinity system. Grab me some 2x8s. That's not really my size. I think this thread here is giving me a little trouble. So here's what I would do if I really cared. I'm really not worried about it, but what I would do, take some sort of plastic adhesive. You know me, my weapon of choice is Scotch Weld PR series. I put a drop in there, let it cure for, I don't know, depends on the series you use, maybe half through its cure time, and then bolt it down through the adhesive, and that'll basically act like a plastic heat sert in there. So if you wanted to repair that. We're looking at these long toggle switches now. So this is the switch here that's broken for me. So let's see if I can get this connector off here. Just get under there, pull the connector off. And then I believe these work because, yes, on the front, these guys are threaded. So I believe there's probably some fancy tool that'll grab both of these ends in here. I'm gonna see if I can get my needle noses in there. Yep. So just be careful. Don't slip and whack your screen. Switch goes on the left if you're looking down at the radio. Now it looks like there is a plastic bit in here. Okay. So this might be hard to see on the camera, but there's two plastic ridges, top and bottom of this hole. You're gonna wanna line this plastic bit up on them with the hole down. Got to give it a bit of a push there to get that in. It's a bigger push than I would have expected. So it's a snug fit. Well, here we go. We got a boo-boo live on video. So don't do what I just did. I pushed on the connector with my thumb. That was a mistake. So I got to be careful with the connector bit. I definitely knew better than that. Okay, so I'm just trying to get it evened up here. I'm not worried about it, so if these things happen, you're gonna break connectors. Welcome to electronics at home. So get them in there. Now, what you're gonna want to do to fix this though, so electronic grade silicone. Okay, this stuff's gonna be your friend. You're gonna fix a lot of things with this. make sure you're using electronics grade silicon, because if you get normal silicon, you will oxidize all of your metal connections when you start, you know, slapping this shit in your radios and your flight controllers and etc. But this stuff is great because it'll lock stuff in, it'll waterproof stuff, and it won't ruin your metal connectors. And I like to do this stuff. I put a lot of silicon on my drones and electronics when I build them, just for waterproofing, and it holds your connectors in there. A common nice little thing. So on these FrSky connectors here, they're already glued in with some sort of adhesive, this yellow stuff. But you'll see when I'm gonna just put the nut on the front. If you can't figure this out, you know, I don't know what you're doing here, but you know, put the nut on there, spin it on, tighten it up. Probably should have done that before I put the silicone on there, but it matters. All right, and then I just snugged the front up with a flathead, just stuck it in there, turned it. I don't care about symmetry, so you know, if you're OCD, you might want to try to line those up better. Double check the orientation of your switch matches your other ones, so like sure the switch works, but you know, make sure the angle matches where you're happy with it. Now for the fun part. So now that we've got that in, you're gonna want to take this UFL connector, make sure it's, you know, pops on there fine. Now this is basically gonna be impossible to show you guys because of the angles here. This is the least fun part of taking off these radios, is this antenna here. Just if you're curious. There we go. And once you get the click, you know you're good. Now, when it comes to UFL connectors, a lot of the times I like to put a little dab of silicone on them. I'm not gonna bother with this guy because I know that he's not gonna be moving around inside the radio. But, you know, for a drone that vibrates and all sorts of fun stuff, it's probably a pretty good idea. So, firm press here, there's some clips. And then just snug up your Phillips. And that is how you put it back together. Obviously make sure your antenna works before you go fly it. Make sure your switch works.